With the power of Hulkamania and the electricity of millions of screaming Hulkamaniacs on his side, there's nothing in the world that can take down the Hulkster, brother. So what you gonna do when Hulk Hogan and his 24-inch pythons run wild on you? Today on From the Vault, we're gonna find out as we take a look at WWE Ultimate Edition Hulk Hogan, brother. Welcome back once again, folks. Rikki Roxx here from the Vault Retro Action Figure Review, and once again we're talking Hulkamania, brother, part 3 of our 3-part series, because I got 3 action figures for my birthday. Boom. Thank you again. Well, you know who you are. Very much appreciated. And we possibly saved the best for last. We've talked about so far the War Bonnet 1988 Hulk Hogan. Fantastic figure. Pick it up. A+. We talked about Wolfpack for Life Hollywood Hogan. Red, white, black. Dig it. Definitely pick that figure up as well. Ringside Collectibles.com exclusive. And here we have another iconic and amazing representation of the man himself, Hulk Hogan. Guys, I've said it before, I have seen every single Hulk Hogan figure there is, and I've handled and owned almost all of them. There's a few I never got my hands on, but this may very possibly be the best Hulk Hogan figure ever made and released. We'll talk about it. We'll see. I mean, we're 2 for 2 so far. The 2 we talked about before were fantastic and incredible, but this is next level. This is Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 1 specifically. Definitely, I mean, maybe the most iconic. You can make a case. I mean, there's other moments that were perhaps bigger, but I mean, WrestleMania 1 was such an iconic part of wrestling history, and this is the look. This is all of it, and oh man, they really nailed it, man. The likeness, the details, the championship belt, every little bit of it. Fantastic stuff. You know, I like the alternate heads. I don't really mess with the heads and hands too much myself, like I've talked about. I'm always nervous about pulling my figures apart, but at the same time, like, oh man, the stuff they give you, if you're into that, and why, you know, I mean, you know, I know it's made for that. I know. I'm just nervous, that's all. I just get nervous. But the fact is, you know, look at all the variety. You know, you can just looking at it, you can imagine all the cool stuff you can do, the cool poses you can get them into. It's got that great Ultimates articulation like they all have, and it's got some really amazing head sculpts. You know, really love that. The headband, the Hulkster headband before he started wearing the Hulkamania stuff. You know, I mean, this was definitely a moment in time, and really captures it amazingly. Huge fan of the Ultimates. I'm a huge fan of everything Mattel does, but in case there was any doubt, there you go. 85. Definitely 85 style Hulk Hogan. Great stuff on the back here. You get those iconic photographs. I mean, that was it. That was the moment in time. You know, this was fantastic stuff here. The other figure that sort of a companion to this figure was the Mr. T WrestleMania 1 figure. I don't have that one just yet, but I'm definitely looking forward to getting it. Yeah, this was a gift. I'm very grateful to have it. It's fantastic. It's one of the best birthday presents I've ever gotten in my entire life. This is a wonderful figure. I can't wait to take it out of the package and mess with it. It really, looking at it now, it really just, they went above and beyond. And they always do. You know, if you collect Ultimates of any WWF, WCW, if you collect Mattel Ultimates, you already know that they are seriously next level. So whenever they do one, I try to get my hands on some of the more iconic ones like Hogan, Flair. You know, they've just done so much amazing stuff. And this is next level. There's really no question if you try and track this one down or not. The answer is yes. You know, go online, look it up. I think it's a Target exclusive. I forget. It's either Target or Walmart exclusive. I forget. It's one of those two. Look it up. I don't have my phone on me because I'm not a nerd. But the fact of the matter is, they're real easy to find if you know where to look, and if you go online, you can definitely find them for reasonable prices for now. If you collect Ultimates, you know they tend to go up really quickly as their availability goes down. I think Ringside still has them. Ringside Collectibles still has them for a really good deal. So definitely pick this up. I'm saying this before I even open it, because that's how awesome it is. And we're going to talk more about why it's so friggin' awesome in just a second. But definitely, man, before I even open it, I could tell this is an iconic piece of business. I love everything about it. I haven't even got my hands on it for real yet. But we're going to come back in a second. We're going to do just that, so stick around. Alright, there you see WrestleMania 1. The Immortal Hulk Hogan. Complete with t-shirt, alternate heads, WWF World Championship belt, 1985 edition, silver and black. I really love the detailing on the belt. I love everything about this, man. You got the alternate heads with the amazing face sculpts. The shirt, of course, gotta have the shirt, Hulkamania. You got the headband, which, like the sunglasses on the Wolfpack Hogan we talked about before, it's just a piece that slides on and off, and it's held in place with a tiny invisible plastic strip that you can remove if you want to. The headband, I guess, in theory, will work on the other Hogan heads as well, but probably not without also putting the strip on. I can see those things are a little flimsy. They sometimes break, so I don't know if you necessarily want to have that. But it's an option, I guess, if you want to take your chances moving those parts around. But everything else, fantastic. I mean, you've got the championship belt, like I said, it's incredible. The face sculpts are absolutely A+ all the way around. I really am having a hard time thinking of a more accurate Hulk Hogan head sculpt than what they've used on this figure here. Now, I've talked in the past about a lot of Hogan figures, and I've talked about how so many of them really capture the likeness of a specific moment in time. They've done some 93 Hogans that looked exactly like he did in 93. They've done some 96, 98 Hogans that looked exactly like he did in that moment in time, or modern ones that look exactly in the face like he does now. This is exactly how he looked at WrestleMania 1, 1985. The face on all three of these heads is incredible. This may be the most accurate face work that they've ever done in this entire line, as far as I'm concerned. And Mattel is generally pretty great with the faces and the heads, but at the same time, some characters are a little hit or miss. But with this specific Hulk Hogan figure, they really knocked it out of the park. They really nailed it. I mean, I don't see how you do better than this. And we'll talk a little bit more about some of the other Hogan figures that have been done that were sort of trying to replicate this exact look. But I don't think any of them ever did it as well as this one has. I mean, this is fantastic. So we're going to come back in just a second. We're going to get a little bit more hands-on with it. But yeah, you can see right out of the box, this is a home run. This is supreme. This is absolutely fantastic. This may be the greatest Hulk Hogan action figure that's ever been made. We'll make the case. We'll talk about it in just a second. We'll be right back. Alright, so we're back, and we're going to take a little bit closer look at this fantastic WWE Ultimates Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 1, 1985 edition. This is spectacular. Again, one of the big things is the belt. There have not been a lot of figures that came with a version of this specific belt. Jakks did one, and we talked about the figure that carried that belt, the Blue Trunks Hogan 85 figure Jakks put out for their Classic Superstars line. We talked about that figure in another video. Be sure and check that one out. But the biggest difference is that this time Mattel went to the trouble of painting the plates black, which was a huge deal. Jakks didn't bother doing that. Jakks had the whole thing in plain silver. It was nice that they bothered doing it at all, because this belt doesn't have a lot of versions of it available officially in action figure form. But it's an iconic piece of history. This was the first belt, well, technically second, but this is the style Hogan wore for about a year after he got rid of the backward belt, the big green one. So it's really cool to have a figure that comes with that championship belt. Like all the Ultimates figures, you get what we used to say in my day, a metric fuck ton of articulation. You got this cool butterfly joint with the shoulder and chest, so you can have him like Hulk up. You know, that's pretty cool. You know, you can get him in all kinds of poses with these Ultimates figures, and that's really awesome. There is a lot of visible clockwork, as some people like to say. You know, all the joints and moving parts are very visible, but at the same time, it's like, okay, but you can do so much cool stuff with these figures that you can't do with any other figures. So, it's like what Jakks was starting to kind of do with the Deluxe Aggression, Deluxe Impact, that kind of stuff, which was cool. But so yeah, these are very much in that vein, but a little bit better at it. You know, you can see a lot of moving parts, but I don't really care. You know, to me, just the fact that you can do all kinds of cool stuff. Like if you swap the hands out, you can do all the poses he would do, you know, more accurately. Because they come with like the finger point hands and the cup hands and all that kind of stuff. But you can still get the idea just from me moving them around. Well, the kind of cool stuff you can do. You know, better with this figure than probably any other Hogan figure. You know, this is like, you can do all the different deals, all the stuff he would do. That's so cool. Fucking love this thing. This is so cool. And again, the likeness, man, the head sculpt really puts it over. Man, this one is like just kind of a neutral head, right? But like, yeah, then you got like his ranting and raving, I'm gonna kick your ass head, like this is him cutting a promo or whatever, or like, you know, like, so angry, and that's perfect too. That's exactly that's seriously, I've seen some great Hogan head sculpts, and I've seen some ones that were okay. He's usually pretty easy to do, but these are fantastic head sculpts. Come here, yo. This one is like kind of happy looking, you know. It's like, yeah, like he just got a good buzz going, you know. Burned a good one. Allegedly. And then he's like, you know, all chill, you know, like this is him on Saturday Night Live with Mr. T, you know, or better yet, this is him on Richard Belzer with Mr. T. This is the look on his face when they cut to commercial. Got him! Holy shit. Yeah, that's him laughing about almost killing Richard Belzer. Yeah, so... Woo! Alright, so yeah, we got a really great, really accurate head sculpt. We got 3 really accurate head sculpts. We got the cross, the crucifix, gotta have that. You got the shirt, we're gonna put that on in a second, because you gotta have that too. And, you know, like I said, the belt is amazing. The articulation. Dude, these Ultimates, these Mattel Ultimates are fantastic. You can do anything with these, just about. Like, you know, you can get the big boot and the leg drop. You know, he's very flexible. All the Ultimates are. They're a little snug out of the box, but, you know, like anything else, you work it. They got the deep knee joints, they got the ankles, they even got toe articulation, which is a little excessive for me, but I get it, you know, it's cool. It's whatever. It doesn't bother me none. I just see it, I'm kind of like, eh. And of course, again, if you want to, they also have the alternate hands. They got the finger point, they got the cup, and they got fists. So, you know, you got no shortage of options there. I don't really mess with the hands too much, but I might. I mean, I know they're made for that. Like I keep saying, I just get nervous when I do it. But yeah, like this is off the charts. Like, I can't say enough. This very well might be the best Hulk Hogan action figure ever made. Like, a case could be made. I really, really love it a lot. I really do. I just, you know, he's got everything you'd want, man. The belt is a little snug to get on, I will say that. Like, I've said this, I think, about other Mattel championship belts, but, like, they barely fit your Mattel figures. Like, you gotta really squeeze to get them on, and forget about trying to swap them with some Jakks figures, because it ain't gonna work. You can put Jakks belts on Mattel figures, and it works pretty good, but you can't do it in reverse. You can't put Mattel belts on a Jakks figure. They just really don't work. They kind of work on a Hasbro figure, I guess, maybe a little bit. Some of them might, I don't know. But yeah, I wish Mattel made the belts longer. That's one thing. Will say I really like the skin tone of the figure. Like, they really nailed that too. You know, that's a pretty good, accurate rendition of the Hogan tan, because I'm always whining about how they always make him too pale most of the time, right? They usually do, but they did a good job with this one. The Hollywood Hogan we talked about last time was a little too pale, but this is a really good tan shade for this version of Hulk Hogan. Knee pads could be a little more red and less of a burgundy, but I don't know, sometimes back then they kind of came out looking like that. I've talked in the past about the reds and the yellows of the Hogan figures and how sometimes they're just a little bit off, like the yellows could be a little bit more golden yellow and less yellow, stuff like that, but you know, it's nitpicky stuff. I mean, this is great stuff. The headband, the Hulkster headband, you know, like I said, it's just like a little U-shaped piece that comes on and off. I'm not really going to mess with it because it's small, and the sunglasses were hard to get back into the little plastic strip once I took them off, so I'm not really going to mess with that, but I love that you can. I'm just going to leave it alone for now, because I love the way it looks as it is. You could probably do it with these other figures too, but, you know, these other heads too, but, you know, I think that's so awesome. These are fantastic head sculpts. I've seen some great head sculpts from Jakks, Hasbro, and even Mattel. The Toy Biz did great Hogan head sculpts, but, like, wow, the hairline even, like, I didn't say enough about the hairline, but, like, even that, it's kind of tricky for them to get, but that's pretty much it for that era, that point in time. The back of the hair, like the length and the wispiness and the style of it all, like, they really nailed it, man. They really did a great job with all of those little details like that. I notice these things because I'm a huge Hogan fan. I used to watch the Coliseum videos all the time. I'd rent the hell out of those things and I'd watch them over and over again. So I would watch the years go by and I'd watch, like, the color of his eyebrows change, or the hairline change, or like the muscles inflate or deflate, or like, you know, all that stuff. I notice all that stuff. So I could look at any picture of Hulk Hogan or any action figure of Hulk Hogan, and I'll tell you in 2 seconds exactly what year it's supposed to be. Sometimes I can tell you exactly what show it was at, like if it's a pay-per-view specific one. So yeah, I notice all that kind of stuff. So this is high praise coming from me, is basically what I'm saying. This is a fantastic Hulk Hogan figure. You can do a lot with it. You can pose it. You can play with it. I mean, you can swap the hands. You can swap the heads. You can take the shirt on and off. You can take the belt on and off. I mean, man, there's been a lot of fantastic Hulk Hogan figures over the years. Like, he's had a million figures, and I have about 60 of them, like I said. And most of them are good. Like, there's not a lot of bad Hulk Hogan figures. Most of them are really high in demand and very popular, specifically because they're very, very good. He's been very fortunate to have, like, really awesome action figures more often than not. I'm trying to think of, like, bad ones, and I kind of can't. His likenesses are usually on point. His detailing, you know, they always go above and beyond. Every company that's ever had the license, really. I guess San Francisco toy makers, some of their Hogans were a little iffy. So yeah, those would probably be, I guess, the worst. But this is like maybe the best. This is maybe the best. I mean, we got 3 for 3 in this Hogan series on From the Vault, talking about likeness, accuracy, posability. Oh, Zoe came to say hello. I mean, you just don't get much better than this. Hello, Zoe. Zoe's a Hulkamaniac too. Sometimes we put on the old Summer Slams and stuff like that, and she goes crazy for it. Bye, puppy. So yeah, we're going to come back in just a second because I want to show you guys something cool. We did this last time as well, and just to kind of show you something really neat before we sign off for today, because I mean, there's really not much more to say other than how friggin' amazing this figure is and how much I love every single thing about it, because it's true. I love every single thing about it. I love the heads, I love the hands, I love the shirt, I love the belt especially. The face really puts it over huge, man. 3 different heads with 3 perfect photorealistic head sculpts. I can't say enough. It's just an A++ figure. Definitely pick it up if you can. What do I mean if? I mean, go get it right now. What the fuck am I saying? But yeah, we're going to come back in a second with something really cool we're going to show you before we're done for today. So stick around just a moment. We're going to be back. Hang out. Alright, so just like we did last time with the NWO Wolfpack Hollywood Hogan, we are taking a look here, a little comparison between the Jakks Classic Superstars Hogan 85 and the new Mattel Ultimates WrestleMania 1 Hogan 85. Now, again, this figure here was fire when it came out. Everybody wanted this figure. It was super popular. It was, to date, one of the greatest Hogan figures that had ever been done. It's very, very in demand still to this day. It was and is a pretty great representation of Hogan in that era. We'll talk about it one of these days in its own separate video, because I do want to cover all the different Jakks Classic Superstars at some point. Huge fan of those and the Ruthless Aggression style. And yeah, but when this figure came out, people raved about the likeness and the detail, even though it came with the wrong title belt, as I recall. They made up for it with the later blue Trunks Hogan, which had the same head, but the blue outfit came with the silver Hogan 85 belt. But this is the one that came out in the original Classic Superstars release. So that's pretty cool all by itself. You know, the articulation, obviously, very limited compared to nowadays. Can't do splits or shoulder shrugs or any of that stuff, but I mean, you know, from that to this, you know, it's an evolution. I always like to do this, if you notice. I like to show you comparison stuff. I do compare and contrast. You can see all the little differences, but also improvements. Obviously, the correct belt is in use now, but also the tan is better, the skin tone is better, the hairline is more accurate and well done, the face is definitely much more photorealistic. The Jakks one is like more of, I guess, maybe a caricatured version, but the Mattel one is definitely much more photorealistic. The shirt, same type of shirt, but it fits a lot better on the Mattel one. They both went for the, get out of here, fly. They both went for the shredding on the back, but Mattel, again, does it better. The logo on the shirt, the Hulkamania logo, lays better across the chest on the Mattel one, because it's kind of off-center on the Jakks one. And the reason why kind of that is because in both of these cases they Velcro in the front because you're supposed to do like the shirt rip thing. You know, you can pose them doing the shirt rip thing. So I've posed him like that. The Jakks Hogan, it works in that respect. You don't notice the logo being off center, but it is a little distracting when you just look at him like that. So this one here, they definitely did a lot of those little things better. The belt is better. So, you know, I'm not trying to knock this figure or anything. This is still one of my favorite Hogan figures. But it's just, you see how the different approach to the same kind of thing, you know, the same exact likeness, same version of Hulk Hogan. You get two different styles of figure based in pretty much the same root. They're even almost the same size, for God's sake. But, you know, obviously the Ultimate's going to have way more articulation, way better sculpting, way better posability. But, I mean, I always say, I just love seeing how things evolve, you know. I love taking the opportunity to kind of do a snapshot of these kind of things like that. It's really a lot of fun for me, and I love it, you know. I wouldn't trade either of these figures for the world, but I gotta say, this figure right here may be the new champion. This figure right here may be the greatest Hulk Hogan action figure ever released. I mean, a case can be made. I'm just saying, it's fantastic in every way. There is nothing negative you could say about it other than I hate how short the Mattel Championship belts are. Part of why he's holding it is because I was trying to get it around his waist and it didn't want to go on again. It's the way it is. Versus like Jakks, they give you like way more belt than you'd ever need. You know, it's way more than you'd need, but like I appreciate that they at least thought of you. Here with Mattel, it's like I had the belt on him and then I had a shirt and it's like, nope, that's too much. Doesn't want to go on now, but it's whatever. It's a great shirt. It looks fantastic. The belt looks fantastic. This whole figure, everything about this figure is phenomenal. Yeah, look at that. Like, he's like, yeah, get the belt, brother. Like, I need to get the Ric Flair and just have him face off. It's great. I still got to get the Mr. T. I got to get a lot of Ultimates. I'm falling behind, but no, rest assured, like, mostly we talk about retro stuff, and this definitely counts because this is based on him in 1985, right? So it counts. This is a new figure, but it's retro, so it falls under the persuasion. Besides, it's my rules. I could break them if I want to. Don't ever forget that, kids. So Yeah, this is fantastic. Like I said, don't forget, even though I'm not going to use them too much, you also get the alternate heads. Heads will roll. You know, you still have those to mess with if you want to. And you got the hands, you can do the ear pose, you can do the finger point, you can have the fists, all that good stuff. It's like, it's fantastic. They really, really went all out, above and beyond. This is easily, I mean, if it's not the greatest Hulk Hogan figure ever made, it's like, what, maybe top 5 at worst? I mean, top 3? Like, I can't think of anything that much better, if any better. This is great. This is fantastic. This is definitely a must-get if you're a Hogan collector or a vintage wrestling collector or an Ultimates collector. Like, there's no reason not to get this figure, especially right now when it's easy to get, really affordable. Go on all the usual websites, you know, Ringside Collectibles, for example. You can get a great deal on this figure. Definitely don't miss out, because this is one that is iconic, classic. It's only going to grow up. It's only going to get harder to find. Don't be left out on this, especially because the belt, you know, you're never going to find a different... Nobody ever wore this belt but him, so it's a classic belt you got to add to your collection too. Oh, man, there's just so many reasons to own it, man. There's so many reasons to get it right now, right away. So go out and do that, man. Go out and do that. We're going to wrap it up in a second, because I'll be here all day just gushing about it. But yeah, we're going to come back, and we're going to say goodbye, and that's going to do it for our 3-part retrospective on Hulkamania this week on From the Vault. But check us out in just a second. Drink it in. Drink it in. I can't say enough. We're going to be back, and we're going to take it home. But for the love of God, just, my heart, it hurts. And once again, before we send it home, we're going to take one last look at WrestleMania 1, Hulk Hogan, 1985, in all his glory. That is 3 for 3. From the Vault, we looked at 88 Hogan with the war bonnet. We looked at Wolfpack Hollywood Hogan with the NWO Championship. And finally, we look at Ultimates WrestleMania Hulk Hogan. 3 for 3, man. Mattel really nailed it. They've been killing it with Hulk Hogan stuff lately. As a huge, huge fan, that couldn't make me any happier. There's still a few I'm behind on. I know there's a Hogan Andre 2-pack I gotta get. I know Ringside Collectibles is doing the Mega Powers, ooh, yeah, 2-pack coming out real soon. Keep an eye out for that, definitely. You're gonna want that. I know I want that right now. I think it's coming out like October, November, something. But yeah, definitely, this Ultimates figure is a cut above the rest. What you gonna do, brother? I'm telling you what you're gonna do. You're gonna buy this fucking figure. That's what you're gonna do. If you don't, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna lose it. I'm gonna lose it. That is gonna wrap it up. You know, we're gonna say goodbye, but I just want to give you guys one last look. I mean, he's in all his splendor. He's in the Hulkamania ring. He's in the Hulkamania shirt. He's running wild, Jack. There's just nothing better than watching Hulkamania run wild. And man, Mattel gives you so many different ways to do that, between the basics, elites, the ultimates. I mean, they've done every different real era of Hulkamania there is, and there's still a lot more for us to cover, because I haven't even talked about anywhere near all the different Hulk Hogan figures I have. I've got around 60, like I said. That's not even all of them. That's just most of them, but we'll talk a little bit more about that. So stay tuned. Thanks so much for hanging out for this long. I appreciate you. But we're going to wrap it up in just a second, and that's going to just about do it for this edition. But I just want to give you guys one last look at the whole big picture. We'll be back in a second. Until then, take a good long look, and then we're going to take it home. And that's just about going to do it here on From the Vault, Rikki Roxx Retro Action Figure Review. That's going to be the end of our 3-part series on Hulkamania, Mattel, Elites, and Ultimates, Hogan 88 War Bonnet Style, NWO Elite Wolfpack, 1999, brother, and of course the Elite Ultimate Series, the exclusive WrestleMania 1 Hogan 85. These figures are perfect down to the last detail, other than give or take a little tan here and there, but everything else fantastic. I can't say enough great things about these figures. I love them. I'm so glad I got them for my birthday. Best birthday in a long time. Unbelievable. Just my heart hurts thinking about how now I get to have these amazing, incredible Hulk Hogan figures in my collection, bumping the number around 60 something. It's close. It's around that number. It's at least 60. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot more we're going to be talking about. We're going to still be talking about all kinds of Hogans, Jakks, Mattel, and otherwise in the near and far future. Trust me on that. But yeah, these three are easily top tier, A+, unbelievable. We even compared them along the way to some of the other great Hogan figures that replicated similar styles. But these are next level. Definitely check them out. Elite Series 96 War Bonnet Hogan, check it out. Perfect 88-89 replication of Hogan. Wolfpack Elite Ringside Collectibles exclusive. Check it out on ringsidecollectibles.com. Perfect version of Hogan 99, and of course this wonderful Ultimates, maybe the best Hulk Hogan figure that's ever been made. I'm racking my brain trying to figure it out. Between the face, the articulation, the belt, everything. Man, it's hard to think that there's been anything ever done better than this. This might even be the best Ultimates figure ever, period. But they do great work with the Ultimates, so it's hard to say. But that's going to do it here. I mean, not much more can be said except go online, go on Ringside Collectibles, go find these figures and get them while you can, because they're only going to vanish, they're only going to go up, and you don't want to be left out in the cold. But these are mine, and I'm glad that I got them. There's still going to be a lot more Hogan stuff to talk about on From the Vault, but that's going to do it for now. Thanks so much for sticking around. Like, share, subscribe. We're going to be back real soon, sooner than you think. And there's going to be a lot more for us to do and talk about and mess around with. But until then, Rikki Roxx, From the Vault, Hulkamania, Retro Action Figure Review coming at you. And we're going to see you next time. And if you can't be good, be bad.